Okay, today is August the 6th, 2018, and right now at 11 p.m. we have a temperature of 78 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 33%. The dew point is 47 degrees, and the barometer is reading 29.94, which is down slightly. And right now we're looking at the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. We had very hot weather today. It was about 101 in the San Gabriel Valley and also in the San Fernando Valley. Certain areas around in the San Fernando Valley, we had much hotter temperatures out in Woodland Hills. I think it was 105. I'll have to check the stats on that, but typically Woodland Hills out to the San Fernando Valley, out in the western San Fernando Valley, is much warmer. Same with Monrovia over in the San Gabriel Valley. That's typically about as warm as Woodland Hills. So we have much warmer temperatures on tap for tomorrow, possibly 110 in some of the valley areas around here. So now we've got a couple of new fires burning in the Orange County area south of Los Angeles, which are burning out of control. The smoke was visible all over the place today. And we have several storms down here. We have Hurricane Hector right here. This is a borderline Category 5 storm with 155 mile per hour winds. This is moving ever so slightly to the west-northwest. We'll take a look at the maps here in a minute. We've got Hurricane John. This is a Category 1 hurricane right here. And we can see a blast pattern right here. Also, this developing, this is now a tropical depression right over here. Let's look at the hurricane map. Here's Hector with 155 mile per hour winds and a central pressure of 936 millibar, moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. Now let's look at the cone track for this system here. We can see that over the next 4 or 5 days, it may skirt the southern tip of the big island of Hawaii right here. No matter what happens, there's going to be some gigantic surf hitting this southeastern side of that island. All right, so people are going to have to be careful about that. Now, at any time, this storm could be steered over the island or destroyed with microwave or laser, which will disrupt the convective process. We've seen that over and over. Let's get back to the maps. We can see here, this is the Central Pacific map. We see Hector right here, all basically surrounded by high pressure. There's not much of a there's not much moisture bands around this nearly Category 5 hurricane. If we go back to the let's get rid of that one frame. If we go back to the map we were just looking at, we can see that the let's take a look here at this map right here, right there. There we go. Hector's way over here, isolated by itself. We can see not much. The moisture bands are just completely evaporated around Hector right here. Now, if we look at this Category 1 system right here, which is Hurricane John, look at the size of the moisture bands around this developing storm. We're seeing some rotation develop right here. But look at the size of the moisture bands around this system compared to this Category 4, nearly a 5. It's 1 mile per hour away from being a Category 5 system. Now, the eye wall is very well defined. If we look at this in the infrared map, we can see that eye wall. And there's just not much moisture around that very powerful hurricane. So over here, we have a Category 1 storm with a gigantic area of moisture. Now, getting back to the Hawaii map right here, notice that we have a low pressure system right up here. So, and also we've got all these thunderstorms right down here. So what's going to happen is they're not going to allow this to run right into this low pressure system. That will not happen. What we're going to see, starting probably tonight after this report or tomorrow, this system will start to be hit much harder with either microwave or laser. And we're seeing some very, very subtle evidence right here of the superheating process. We can see the blast pattern, we can see a pressure wave moving away right there. And right down here, we can see a couple of pressure waves right there and right there. Watch it again. So this storm is being basically throttled right at about 155 miles per hour. The winds are being maintained. And as this storm approaches the Hawaiian Islands, it is scheduled to be superheated and knocked down. And that'll probably happen on Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. We'll keep an eye on that. If we look here at this infrared map, we have the grid. Earlier today, this storm was right along the 15 degree north latitude line right there. So it is moving ever so slightly to the west northwest, and by Wednesday it could just hit the bottom half of this island. So people on the Big Island should be aware of that. These terrorists could run this thing right over the island, although that is probably not going to happen. But at least you know what's going on. The people that are controlling our weather, they are the ones that are the, and of course the fake news mainstream media, they're accusing everyone else of being climate deniers, but they're the ones that are peddling the fake news and ignoring all the evidence of what we're seeing in these maps, these pressure waves, the specific timing of the chemtrail spraying. All that is being ignored. Now, there's a reason for that. Here we're looking at the East Pacific water vapor loop. Notice again the size of the moisture field around this developing Category 1 storm versus what's going on over here. This is approaching the Hawaiian Islands quickly, and so we're seeing the preparations being made to squash out this storm. See a little area of high pressure being, this storm will be isolated by tomorrow morning, and it will just be squashed out by Wednesday. Keep an eye on that, because they're not going to allow this to run into that low pressure area right here or merge with any of these thunderstorms. Okay, let's get back to the big map. We can see we've got a huge thunderstorm cell right here over northwest Mexico. That is being dealt with right now. These weather controllers are superheating that area. You take a look at that here in the Western U.S. water vapor loop. And we see the color change towards the end of the loop after that has been targeted. We can actually see the pressure wave right there, blast wave right there, as this area has been superheated. And the superheating process is exactly what it seems to be. The water vapor in this rising column of air is superheated, and that disrupts and cancels out the lift. And the water vapor expands, just like when you boil water, steam is generated. You know, when you put a lid on a pressure cooker, for example, water vapor, when it's heated sufficiently, will expand. And that's exactly what's happening here, and that's why we see these pressure waves. So this is how our weather is being subtly manipulated without anybody reporting it. The meteorologists on television, I'm sure, know what's going on, because they know about the chemtrail spraying. They refer to that as wispy clouds. They've got these names for these phony clouds. They're not clouds. They don't contain any water vapor. And Dutch sense is incorrect. He's wrong, and that is disinformation that he is spreading about this cloud. He calls it cloud seeding. That's not what's happening. This is a chemical aerosol, which is a desiccant. It lowers the relative humidity in the atmosphere. If you have a weather instrument, you can measure the relative humidity drop a couple of hours after these aerosols are sprayed. It caps the atmosphere as well. These aerosols will cap the atmosphere and prevent the lift in the atmosphere. Okay. Let's take a look at some of these other maps. Let's go back to the hurricane map. National Hurricane Center. You have 13E. This is just formed today. That disturbance is now 13E with 35 mile per hour winds, 1,004 millibar central pressure. We've got this Category 1, Hurricane John, 75 mile per hour winds, 989 millibar. This is the one with the giant area of moisture. But yet, Hector out here is just this tiny little pinwheel, nearly a Category 5 storm. So the attention is being focused on Hector out here past the out in the Central Pacific. Then we have Ilana, which is a tropical storm with 50 mile per hour winds. And this one here is moving northwest at 23 miles per hour. Now this storm here, if you look at the cone track for John, Hurricane John, we're going to see some interesting stuff happening because this is going to move up the Baja Peninsula, and that is going to bring some moisture right up towards Arizona and California. So that means, since we don't have a rain forecast, we have no rain forecast. And so what does that mean? That's going to mean that we're going to see the specially equipped jets up spraying the chemtrail aerosols to prevent the rain. And we'll start seeing that probably in a day or so, probably on Wednesday. We've got a low pressure system right here. Look at this. Right there, spinning over the Mexican mainland right there. And then we have this thing here, this thunderstorm. And we've got all this moisture spinning back into that vortex. And we had a blockade yesterday. In the video, we showed this blockade. And so some of this moisture wants to wrap into that vortex. But throughout all this, California remains dry. Let's look at the Doppler map, and we can see that California, Nevada, and most of Arizona, Utah, and Oregon are dry. We've got fires going on all over California. And yet, these terrorists controlling our weather, these people that are in our government that are involved in controlling our weather, are not allowing it to rain. We've got a chance of rain right here and here. Okay, so that's the situation. And we'll just go ahead and here's the surface analysis map. We see what's happening here. We've got this low pressure blocked by high. We've got a trough shown all up and down the coast of California and Oregon, and no rain in the forecast. So that is the report, and we'll just leave it right here. Actually, right here is the best, right there. Okay, that's it. We'll do another one real soon. That's it.